Hi, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Astridologie with Astrid. I hope you're doing well and you are ready to move forward into this new season of change. So, I've titled this message, Shifting into Spring. The opening quote is from Parker Palmer. Is the life I'm living the life that wants to live in me? I love this thought because so often we just thrust ourselves into things and into life, and especially things that include our body. Like some days we're committed to walking or running or doing our exercise, but some days we just need to tune in and ask the body, is this what our body wants to do? Because our body is our lives. Is the life I'm living the life that wants to live in me? So as we move forward in 2024, ruminate on that question. Ruminate on that question. What is it that you truly desire? You know, it's all about desire. We create, desire is what sparks the flame that creates life. What is it that you really desire in the balance as we go forward in this year? And this sometimes is not a simple question to answer. It's challenging because our moods and thoughts shift as quickly as the current in the ocean. I noticed the weather in California as we're going into spring is absolutely interesting. It has been very interesting. Just today alone, I feel like we've gone through 4 different weather type patterns. There was cloudiness, it was overcast. Then there was a breakthrough of the sun. Then all of a sudden, there was a mix of this beautiful blue sky with these puffy clouds, and it even hailed today. So it's like unbelievable. But that's what I love about Mother Nature and life. Mother Nature will always prevail, no matter what kind of weather systems we create. Mother Nature will prevail. So it's challenging because our moods and thoughts shift, and some people use the analogy of like the stock market. It's always fluctuating up and down. So in order to become successful in anything in life, we must have concentrated focus and dedication. It's hard to be dedicated to ourselves. It's the toughest thing that we do in life, you know? So even if we aren't doing much physically towards our goals, if we can just, the theory is if we can just form a picture of what we like to see and we can feel it, we can bring it into reality. This is like one of the cornerstones of manifestation. We find what we are looking for is the theory. Depending on our perspective, we only see what we are prepared to see. This happens a lot in relationships. You know, I've been in this position. Most of us have been in this position where you've poured love and hopes into someone, and you love them so much and you just want them to see everything that you have to give them, but they're not able to receive it because maybe they're not prepared to receive it. So we unknowingly look to the future using the past as a marker. Now, I've been using the past as a marker, for example, because I'm using the positive past. Our natural tendency as human beings is to use the negative part of the past. We always look to the past, and for some crazy reason, our mind instantly goes to the less than stellar times in our lives versus all the glorious good things that we've been to. But I've been looking back into what I call my glorious past as I go forward in 2024. The only time we should do this, looking back, is when we look back to see what didn't work for us so we can determine what it is that we want. It's okay to look back, to use it as a reference, but not to use it to beat yourself up or get lost in thoughts and self-deprecation about coulda, shoulda, woulda. I love this new statement. Whoever coined it is great. Don't should on yourself. So learning from the past and our mistakes is key, but it is also important to let go of and not keep looking back. It's important to do that. You can vitally influence your life from within by auto-suggestion. The first thing each morning and the last thing at night, suggest to yourself specific ideas that you wish to embody in your character and personality. Address such suggestions to yourself silently or aloud until they are deeply impressed upon your mind. That's from Grenville Kleiser. You can vitally influence your life from auto suggestion. Many spiritual teachers, especially those that are teaching about abundance and manifestation and your frequency and energy, talk about filling your mind first thing in the morning. And it's beautiful when you use your own words and your own thoughts to do this, okay? This beautiful and amazing poem is from the book I Will Not Die, An Unlived Life by Dawna Markova. I've discovered this book 6 years ago. This was in 2018 when I discovered this amazing book. It was one of those things that kind of jumped off the shelf at me. You know, as an inspirationalist, as a spiritual teacher, I am always looking for things and ways to inspire myself and my students. And this book is unbelievable. And I've included some excerpts, just some excerpts from the book that will give you a wonderful way to look at yourself and the gift of being alive. Feeling and being alive and being grateful for it is so vital today with all of the things happening in the Middle East where people don't have a choice, where there's mass massacre going on of women and children and starvation. It is a privilege to be alive today. So I want to leave you this poem by Dawna Markova. I will not die an unlived life. I will not die an unlived life. I will not live in fear of falling or catching fire. I choose to inhabit my days, to allow my living to open wide for me, to make me less afraid, more accessible, to loosen my heart until it becomes a wing, a torch, a promise. I choose to risk my significance, to live so that which came to me as seed goes to the next as blossom, and that which came to me as blossom goes on as fruit. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Unbelievable. So again, just really choosing to risk our significance. There's that word vulnerable again. My Aunt Georgia used to say, you're not that important. She was so hilarious, because people say, oh, I don't want people in my business. And she says, if you don't have $1 million, you ain't got no business. That was my great Aunt Georgia. I love that. So Dawna Markova, another excerpt from her book. This is called The Seasons of Renewal, A Living Landscape. There's no part of creation that does not go through a cycle of growth, falling away, disappearing, and re-emerging. Think of a tree or the moon. Why should humans be the one aspect of life that is exempt from this cycle? Our pulse beats in varying rhythms as all of nature's does. Why then do we move at only two speeds, fast or inert? What if we thought of ourselves like the moon and had equal faith in what is ready to fade away and what's invisible as we do what is shining? What if we could easily shed the unknown and habitual ways we think of ourselves in order to foster the things within that are seed form and dormant? What if you gave yourself 3 days a month or 3 hours a day to allow everything you know about yourself to disappear, instead of assuming you are falling apart or clinically depressed? What if you broke through your mundane level of thinking and nestled yourself in rich, dark, regenerative soil where you could be engaged in innocent inquiry with who you are and what you are becoming? Most of us in our organizations still follow the old mythology where we are thought of as a perpetual motion machines, working at one speed, fast as can be, productive as possible, like stair climbers in the gym, up, 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 asking us to exert more effort, but getting nowhere quickly. Ascent, higher and higher, never dormant, never darkness or plateau for regeneration. As consequence, we become imprisoned in our own rigidities. What if instead we realize, like Ram Dass, that we go through many incarnations in one life? What if we realize that instead of things getting better and better, if we work harder and harder, like a seed, we will each in our own rhythm go through endless cycles of gestation, birth, growth, and renewal and death. Like the rest of the natural world, human beings go through seasons. At one point, we are in the full bloom of summer, harvesting, stagnation, a shedding of what has been used up. Then must come the fallowness and dormancy of winter, death, and rest. Eventually, it is happening right outside of our windows of this cabin. There is great melting in muck and mud, which one can preserve, opens naturally into an abundant yellow-green time when everything is possible and horizons open. Consider your own passion for a moment. Is it hiding under the softest fall of snow or going through a raw shedding? And is your sense of purpose trembling with spring green or flaming full harvest? Think of yourself as a gardener. You have been given some seeds. You don't exactly grow them. You merely provide the condition in which they can thrive, and then tend to them with curiosity and kindness as they grow themselves. You don't explain to the apple tree that it should be shedding leaves now, or that it should be producing pears instead, or that its flowers are excessive for the amount of fruit necessary for regeneration. A gardener cultivates a tree by acting on its essential behalf, by making sure it has the necessary spaciousness and support and the opportunities for growth in both darkness and light. I don't believe our existence in this world is random or accident. Maybe it is, but I don't believe it. I believe there's more to life than living each day as it comes. The great cellist Pablo Casals agreed. He said that through the whole of recorded history, there has never been another such you. Each of us is a miracle of uniqueness. Each of us, therefore, is responsible for the discovery of our sustained passions and rhythms, the cultivations of the green fields in which we can discover what keeps us connected to the full fertility of our soul and all it has to give to the world. Let us swing wide all the doors and windows of our hearts on their rusty hinges. Let us see the light in the other and honor it, so we may lift one another up on our shoulders and carry each other along. Let holiness move in us, so we may pay attention to its small voice and give ourselves fully with both hands. Dawna Markova. Ah, that is so profoundly beautiful. So as we move deeper into the spring season, the question of the day by Parker Palmer is the life I'm living the life that wants to live in me? What is it that you truly desire? What is it that you want to bring in the highest level of balance and harmony? What do you want to return back to homeostasis? And just remember that we are cyclical. We are tied into the circadian rhythm. So externally, things are going to affect us. This environment that we lived in called life and the world. And remember, we find what we are looking for. How you vibrate is how you attract. How you vibrate is what you think about is what you bring about. So how you think is how you vibrate. How you vibrate is what you attract. What are you attracting? What do you want to attract as we go forward in this continuum of this 2024 year, this 8 year of magnificent power, the year of the dragon. Thank you so much for tuning in. And just remember, you can auto suggest your days. Wake up with those positive affirmations, ones that you create that are truly authentic and meaningful to you. Thank you again for tuning in to this episode of Astridologie with Astrid. I'm so grateful for your presence. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be well, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next episode of Astridologie with Astrid. Namaste.